Hello everyone, it's your boy Sleep Too Late. Yes, I'm back and I'm here with another video and we are recording on this new iPad. I thought I'd make a follow-up video because the last video ended on a sad note where I said, it's on iOS 16.6. I wanted it to be 16.5 or lower, so now I'm screwed. But I want to just follow up on that whole conversation because I went on the Discord, the jailbreak Discord, and I was like devastated. I'm like, oh gosh, I spent so much money on this iPad and it's on 16.6 now. So now I can't use, I can't jailbreak the iPad anymore. Well, somebody messages me in response and says, "Damn, you lucky." So I'm like looking at this message and I'm like, what do they mean by that? And as it turns out, there is a semi jailbreak. It's called a semi jailbreak. It's not a full jailbreak, but most of the tweaks work. And it supports 16.5.1 to 16.6.1, I believe. And this jailbreak, this iPad is on 16.6. So effectively, I was able to not only get all the tweaks I needed working on this thing, but it's not even fully jailbroken, which means there's more. It's a the security is still there's still a layer of security there that I feel is needed. There's something about like rootless or root hide, whatever. I don't know the full details behind it. All I know is that it's not a complete jailbreak, but most of the tweaks work, and I still feel like maybe that's a good. It's a blessing in disguise because there's benefits to not having a fully jailbroken iPad, you know. So I feel like there's definitely some good that came out of that whole experience, and I was able to fully successfully install Cilio. I haven't fully tested every single app or everything that I can do with jailbreaking or semi jailbroken iPad, but everything that I needed, like personally, worked just fine. So um, I thought I'd just update you all on that video and just to let you know, it's really funny how life works sometimes, where you say to yourself, "Oh, everything is the world is falling apart, everything is crashing," and yet here we are, still on our 2 feet, world still spinning, sun still goes up every morning, goes down every evening, and it just is funny to me because I was so devastated, but at the same time, even if this thing didn't work, I was still like optimistic. It was still positive. I was still like, I bought this iPad. It works just fine. It's got some great legs to it. And now there's a silver lining in that, like, even though I can't fully jailbreak it, I can still do everything that I need. And I still get I guess I get the benefits of having a non jailbroken iPad. So in a way, it might even be better. The funny thing is, when this whole incident happened, it reminded me of a very funny scene from The Office. And in this scene from The Office, the branch was being shut down in Dunder Mifflin, right? So what does Michael Scott do? He gets Dwight over to their boss's house, and they're gonna try to convince um, the boss's name is, I believe, David, to not shut down the branch. And so they're working really hard, tirelessly to not get their branch shut down, to keep their jobs, all while this whole inner process is working throughout the episode of, this transitioning point where they're closing down the branch. And it turns out they can't even close the branch because the person they were going to hire as the boss moved to another position. And so there is this really beautiful, like, I want to say 30-second scene where Michael Scott is just on the ground and just, cowering in the night sky, being like, "Oh, there's nothing I can do. We screwed up. It's over. Our jobs are done. We're gone." But then Dwight gets the message from whoever is in the office saying that they're not shutting down and that everything is fine and that everything is going to be great. And I always look back to that scene in The Office because it reminds me that success needs failure. And that's exactly what I put on this screen here. Success needs failure in order to thrive. You cannot be successful if you don't fail. And I'm going, as I mentioned before, and I've alluded to this in multiple previous videos in the past on this channel, I I do believe that success needs failure. I do think that's a very important aspect of life that we need to understand. Because if you never fail, you never will understand how impactful success really is. You have to fail in order to succeed. And I think that's something very, very important in life, to never always be number one all the time. Okay, it's a very important life lesson. And yeah, maybe you are number one all the time. Maybe there are some absolute winners out there, and you know what? It's great for you. But I always felt like at the end of the day, did I go to the number one best school in the world? No. Did I get the perfect grades in high school? No. Was I the top uh, tier student in the universe? No. But you need to fail. You need to have moments where you are down, where you struggle, in order to understand the importance of that struggle, in order for you to feel the impacts of success, right? Because if every day you wake up and you're happy and happy and happy, you don't know what sadness is. How do you know what happiness is? You're actually just monotone at that point. So that's something to think about. I thought I'd just make a brief mention about that, how, success needs failure. I'm going to be doing a series on this whole bit about how, we need to have a little bit of shucking and jiving. We need to have a little bit of jazz in our life in order to really enjoy life. So, hope you enjoyed this video. I thought I'd make this short, 6, 7 minutes, whatever. But thanks for watching, everyone. And I will be putting out more content. I'll be trying to put out some more videos out there, if y'all have been watching. So, thanks for checking out the channel. Again, it's I Sleep Too Late, making a comeback. Peace out.